Good morning, friends, and welcome to a day in the life. I thought it would be fun to just share with you guys what a typical day looks like for me as a wife, a mother, a business owner, and a farmer. So first of all, my day starts off usually around 5 o'clock, but I'll be honest, this time change is kicking my rear. So it's about 6 o'clock right now. I'm making a cup of coffee before anyone else is awake in the house, and this is a chance for me to get some computer work done, some social media posting done, which is what I'm doing right now, before anyone wakes up, and I have to shift my attention to them. So usually I have drafted up some sort of Instagram reel, and I'm just going through making sure it posted, getting on my stories, all of the normal things there. And then it is time for my beloved cup of coffee. I am only drinking 1 cup right now in the morning while I am pregnant, but this has been a game changer, especially because we're waking up with the day still darker. And this really is just that added boost that's been really, really helpful for me, especially for the long days ahead, which I'm going to walk with you guys through. So once I've made my coffee, I'm usually transitioning into the kitchen, and this is where I'm getting computer work done. So there are a few things I'm working on today. One, I am finalizing page reviews for the Tiny Farm Planner. I'm going to be talking to you guys more about that. And I also have a garden consultant that I'm finishing building out her layout. You guys can see it's still dark outside, but I try to at least get an hour worth of work done on the computer before the kids wake up. And cue that right now. I've got the first little one who has come out of bed. I have woke Charlie up for school. So now I am going to snuggle. We are going to put work aside for a second and hop on to mom duties. So we are saying goodbye to work for right now. Now comes all the hairs, outfit, lunches, you name it. This is where mom mode kicks back in. I know you feel me. So for Charlie's school, we have to make all of her breakfast, lunch, and snacks, which I absolutely love. So today we're just doing something pretty simple. We had grilled chicken for dinner last night. So we're having leftover grilled chicken. I'm cutting up an apple. Gonna get June a little snack to tide her over because I will do her breakfast when we get home. Adding in some carrots, some hummus. We had some leftover biscuits. Really nothing too fancy, but here is her little lunch. Hello, good morning. Popping in real quick to say, one, I hope you are enjoying this day in the life. We are, full blown prepping for spring. You guys know, but I thought, you know what, if I can just kind of time lapse and voice over and share with you guys what a typical day looks like for us during the week, as bananas as it might be fun and offer some sort of relatability. But now's my favorite time of the morning. It is before we are about to rush out the door and take Charlie to school, because Charlie goes to school 30 minutes from where we are. So there's no, waking up late. Mama's got to be prepared. But we are going to feed Otis the sourdough starter because I need bread for the rest of the week. So typically my baking days are on Tuesdays and Fridays. Fridays gets us through till Tuesday. Tuesday usually gets us through till the end of the week. But that didn't happen yesterday. Otis is also back in stock. So if you've tried to order Otis and we've been out, we have just had an influx of people jumping on the sourdough train, which cheers to that. I am so grateful and so thankful. But let's grab Otis out and let's feed him real quick. Also, I am feeling so great. We've been, like I said, full steam on the farm, but I thought I'd give you guys a little baby update. We are 22 and a half weeks right now when I'm shooting this video, probably like 23 by the time I show you guys, but bigger than I have been with either of the girls. I don't know if that's because it's a boy or maybe just because it's my third baby and that's how things work. But I am feeling so great. Just so thankful. The Lord has been so good to us throughout this pregnancy. But all right, grab your coffee, grab your tea, whatever it is you're sipping on, and let's get ready to feed Otis. So I like to feed Otis first thing in the morning, or typically I forget. So I'm doing this before we head out the door. I'm just doing 100 grams of filtered water. I have about 50 to 75 grams of starter in there. And then I'm going to do 100 grams of bread flour. So super easy. I'm going to take my stirrup and go ahead and just mix it all together. We do have Otis back in stock on the website. So if you go to the description, you will find the link for that. But mixing it up really well, scraping down the sides just to kind of clean up the jar a little bit. We're going to pop the lid on this, let it ferment all day. Now we are out the door. I am taking Charlie to school, and we will come back and get ready for the day yet again. So we're back home now. I'm trying to make me and June breakfast because I know it's going to get crazy from here. Just cutting up some fruit, super simple, following an animal-based, whole foods-based pregnancy. So getting in lots of good fruits, lots of meats. So for her breakfast, she opted to just have fruit this morning, which I said okay to. Me, on the other hand, I am eating leftover steak and some eggs and just making a little bit of a hash. This is super, super easy and also really filling as long as I add a side of fruit to it as well. And I find that I can really have a protein-packed breakfast, and I feel really good and energized throughout the day. So you guys can see here, pretty simple. Now I'm making my water, relight, of course. Check out my description down below and use our code Whispering Willow for a discount. I got my prenatal vitamins and my beef organs from Heart and Soil. These have been a game changer. So I'm getting in all of the nutrients, all the supplements this morning. I'm putting my phone down, and June and I will sit and have an intentional breakfast before the work begins. So now at this point, we've finished up breakfast. I have got a few more things I have to submit inside before I shift my gears outside. The main one, continuing to work on the garden layout for my garden client. So you guys can see here, I'm just using my iPad to map it out. At this point, June is in the living room playing. Nathan is getting everything wrapped up and ready to start his day, which she will then go with him to feed animals, and that is their first chore of the day. So while they do that, I am typically inside finishing up whatever computer work I didn't get done before the kids wake up, and I'm trying to get them ready for school. So as I am wrapping up my time with this, I'm going to set this aside until this afternoon, and I'm transitioning down to the tunnel to harvest tulips for the day, which I've done. And we also have on-farm pickups today, which I will talk to you guys about in a second. So you guys can see here, I am prepping arrangements for that. I like to do this early in the morning before the sun comes out so that my tulips don't wilt. So I'm just simply bunching these together, putting them in their flower sleeve, wrapping up other tulips to go into the cooler. So pretty much it's just a rinse and repeat process for at least 30-45 minutes or so. So I have just finished making arrangements for our on-farm pickups. So we are doing flower subscriptions this year. I think I told you guys about this. We had a spring tulip subscription, which has done so great. So Wednesday afternoons, we have on-farm pickups for those who chose that option. So I went ahead and just wrapped up making the arrangements for that. And then this afternoon, we will make the arrangements because tomorrow, mid-morning, I will deliver to our third-party pickup. And they will pick that up on Thursday. And then Fridays, we make deliveries. So now that that's done, I'm going to meet Nathan in the seed starting tunnel. We're going to start seeds. Typically, I start seeds on Friday with my interns, and they are going to be gone. So I'm switching up my days with all the other things. I promised the girls we'd do a fun little spring break. Mom would take off early on Friday. I'd go take them to get their nails done and painted before spring break. So I'm trying to move my schedule around a little bit to accommodate quality time with the families. So it is Wednesday when I'm shooting this. Lord knows when you're gonna actually see it. So I have my little bucket of seeds. We're gonna meet Nathan over in the seed starting tunnel. He's got to mix up a little bit more dirt for me, and we'll get started. Once I've harvested tulips, put them in the cooler, I'm now checking on the seedlings in the greenhouse. I just started these on Friday, you guys, and I've got incredible germination rate. So making sure they're just watered really well before the heat of the day comes on, seeing what new little babies have sprouted. Everything you're looking at right here are flowers. You guys know we are emphasizing a huge amount of efforts and resources on flowers this year, and I am so excited to be able to share that process with you guys. But all of these are looking great. Nathan is prepping some stuff for me as well. We've got cosmos that we up potted in our signature collection pots. You can check them out down below. But Nathan's making me up some more seed starting soil because that is what we are about to transition into. So I have spent hours, and when I say hours, you guys, I mean I have spent a good 4 to 5 hours outside starting seeds. This will be my second round of a lot of seeds. I'm starting some nasturtiums here to go in various different pots. We're starting more straw flowers, zinnias, celosia, because we are doing so much content this year and we're building out garden glossaries, and we would just want to have so many resources. I'm not only having to think through the flowers we intend to sell, I'm also having to think through having enough flowers just for the sole purpose of teaching and education. And so when in doubt, start a little more. I went back to my seed time crop planner and realized I had enough space and successions to do more. And if I had more, I could easily give some of these to friends or put them in different pots and containers and sprinkle them throughout the farm. So Nathan is continuing to work on his chores of building out beds in the tunnel, feeding animals, prepping other things while I'm in the greenhouse. And don't worry, June is right beside us having fun. All right, friends, I just finished in the greenhouse. The sun ended up popping out, but I got everything seeded I needed to. Nathan just hopped in the car with June to go pick up Charlie. Usually we tag team the days of the week that we take her and pick her up so that we can each finish whatever existing projects we were working on. So I was currently working on something, so Nathan opted to go get Charlie for me. But I had FedEx just drop off the most amazing package. I'm actually going to be doing an entire separate video on this, and that is growing Lisianthus. But since you guys are just coming along for this vlog, day in the life, I wanted to show you. So I really wanted to grow Lisianthus this year. Everyone told me how hard and a pain in the butt they were. So I did a lot of research and decided to just order live plants. So I have 2 boxes. I ordered 500. But of course, we're in Arkansas. We have tornadoes coming, supposedly. Y'all be praying. So I'm trying to get these out of the box and figure out where I'm gonna put them in the house, because I'm scared to put them in the greenhouse with the weather coming, and these were quite an investment. So I'm gonna unbox this with you guys. It's gonna be exciting. All right, so you guys can see they put them in these cardboard boxes so that they stack nice, which is great. Nothing's getting squished. I just want to make sure they're nice and watered, which the paper is pretty saturated, so it looks like they've saturated this paper. Oh, I feel like a kid at Christmas. Oh yeah, these look great. So these are the Arena 3 apricot. They had crop failure on one of the varieties that I had ordered, and they asked if they could replace it, and I said sure, just so that I could have an even 500 to plant. But I mean, these look great, like super moist, which is great. I'll stick them in a deep 1020 cell tray, and then until the weather passes, probably next week. The goal is next week we will have these in the ground. Nathan's putting up the trellising system for them now. We're finishing top dressing the bed, and these will go out in the flower tunnel. So I just wanted to show you guys this.
All right, so now that Happy Meal's done, I moved some seedlings out to the greenhouse. I'm gonna take advantage of June and Nathan being gone for about an hour, and I'm going to wake up the tulips that are for our third-party pickup tomorrow. So I'll drop these off tomorrow on my way to take Charlie to school. But since we store all of our tulips in the refrigerator, the night before I like to wake them up, and I'll just go ahead and like cut the bulbs, stick them in some water, and then I'll get up in the morning before school and I'll actually wrap them in flower wraps and arrangements. But I have my buckets down here in the tunnel. June kind of bounces between helping me and Nathan all day. She's actually a great helper, but I find I am a little more mindful about her helping with arrangements because we do have limited tulips. They have already been paid and accounted for, so I like to try to do this when she's either occupied with Nathan or I have some free time. So I came down here to grab some buckets. I'm just going to grab my shears, which are down here. Nathan installed this for me, super nice. We'll head up to the house real quick. I'm gonna do this inside because it's so hot, so which is why I like to wait until late in the afternoon. But since I'm gonna take these inside, it'll be fine. So let's head up there and start getting tomorrow's orders ready. So we've transitioned real quick to beat the afternoon heat and take advantage of me being home by myself. So I've pulled these tulips out of our outside refrigerator that's on around 35, 36 degrees, and I'm trying to wake these up before we have deliveries in the morning. By doing this the evening before, you're allowing your tulips to perk up a bit, but then it's also really easy because you can see our mornings are a little hectic, or maybe not so hectic, but a lot of bouncing around. So I like to go ahead, group them together, put them in water, but then something I like to do as well is go ahead and put them in their flower sleeves. You can see the tops of these tulips are a little floppy. That's just because how they restored, and they will straighten out. But how I encourage them to straighten out is by going ahead and putting them in these floral sleeves that will encourage that to happen. So now that I have all these done, I'm just going to stick them in here. And again, it's pretty later in the afternoon at this point. Nathan and I have finished up some of our projects. We're trying to find areas for a flower stand. We have moved a sheep into pasture. We have bad tornadoes that are supposed to be coming. And so I know I have a deadline, and that deadline is to get my garden consultant's layout emailed to her. So I'm taking a little bit of a break to rehydrate, get a snack, and finalize this before I know I'm going to be super pooped this afternoon. So this looks like me checking emails, doing bookkeeping, checking in with the garden consulting, whatever things I didn't finish from the morning that require my attention. Whether that's a product review, building out a newsletter, posting social media, this would be the time in the afternoon when I've finished all the bulk outdoor chores for the most part, and I'm transitioning back in and just wrapping up these tasks. This is also a good time for me to build out my to-do list for the next day so that I stay on track. And I know everything that is expected of me for the day. In the meantime, the kids are back home from school. They immediately go outside and play with a snack. Nathan is trying to prep his to-do list for the next day and for the following day, and really just try to prepare the farm for some of the storms that are starting to blow in. So at this point, we kind of divide and conquer. He's working on his task, I'm working on my task based off of what I know I have to do today and also what I have to do tomorrow. So kind of boring, but a big part of what I do, and it actually takes up a big chunk of my day, which at this point I've been outside in the heat for hours on end, standing on my feet. So I'm appreciating the break of just being able to sit for a minute, prop my feet up, eat some fruit. So I'm not complaining whatsoever, but we are about to wrap up the end of the day, so make sure you stay tuned because we are getting close to the end of this day in the life vlog. All right, friends, it is around 6:30 p.m. and I just had my last customer come and pick up her flowers, and Nathan and I wrapped up our last chore on the farm, which was closing all the tunnels for the night. We have a sheep that's due any day, and we've got some storms blowing in, so we put her in a separate paddocks with hay, water, grain, all the things. And now
I am going to make sourdough so that it can bulk ferment overnight. We're probably going to do a super easy dinner. Because we had rain coming in, we knew we needed to take advantage of all the daytime that we had. So we're probably just going to do like some grilled chicken salad, something super easy, side of fruit, something like that. So let's make some sourdough. Then Mama's gonna take a shower and hit the hay. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me in this day in the life. Hopefully as the farm projects are done and I can just show you guys all the beauty we've been working on, we will all appreciate coming back from this break so much more. But I thought this would be fun to just kind of share with you what it looks like as a mom, a wife, running a business, being a farmer. I get asked all the time, how do you do it all? Set out a lot of to-do lists, but I just thought it'd be fun to share with you guys what a typical day looks like for me, especially balancing all the things and juggling all the things. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with us, for just investing in our family, our farm, and our dreams. It really is just such a privilege. So thank you guys so much, but let's get on sourdough and then let's get something to eat. Of course, I couldn't leave you hanging and not share with you guys what I do. I'm making a simple focaccia, so I'm using 100 grams of active sourdough starter. Remember, we fed Otis this morning? Well, by this time, he is perfect and ready to use. I know even though I'm tired, if I can go ahead and get this bulk ferment happening overnight, I will be glad I did so in the morning. So now I've got 375 grams of filtered water, and I'm also going to add about 25, maybe 30 grams of some raw honey. It's one of my kids' favorite things about the focaccia. So I like to go ahead, mix this up pretty well before I ever add in my flour. It's mainly just getting the starter, water, and honey really incorporated. So now I'm going to grab 500 grams of white bread flour after I have tarred out my scale and plop it right in. Whoops, looks like I got a little too much. That is totally okay. So now I'm going to add around 10 grams of salt. Again, use quality ingredients. It's going to make a huge difference. So now I'm just going to mix it all together and get ready for the bulk fermentation that is going to take place overnight. That's really my process. I feed my starter in the morning. By late afternoon, nighttime, I can do the bulk ferment, which will then take place overnight. Get up the next day, start the second proof bake, and then it'll be ready for either lunch or dinner. So it works out kind of perfect. So I mixed it well. I'm just putting a damp tea towel on it, and I'm going to let it sit. And friends, we have worked around a 12, 13-hour day. Mama is tired. It is time for a shower, to snuggle my babies, and to snuggle up in bed with Nathan. So thanks for hanging out, and I'll talk to y'all soon.